anglais, how to create impactful brand experiences in virtual reality. Please help me welcome Christophe Mallet.
Merci Laurent. Écoute bien la présentation, tu vas apprendre quelques trucs sur la VR, je crois qu'il y a un peu de... hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day, but given the smiles on some of your faces, it seems all right. My name is Chris, and so I'm the co-founder, as Laurent said, of Somewhere Else. We're a creative agency, we're based in London, and we specialize in immersive technology such as augmented reality and virtual reality. What I want to talk about today is how to create impactful experiences. And the first question you might have is, what does that mean, an impactful experience for a brand? Well, in simple terms, an impactful experience is an experience that can change the behavior of your consumer. You want the consumer to desire your brand or product. So since we're going to talk about behavior, I want to start talking a little bit about my own weird behavior. Let's give it a go. Yeah. Last summer, I was swimming in Le Lac du Bourget, so very close to here with some friends. It's beautiful. It's probably more beautiful than Le Lac de Genève. I'm happy to negotiate. It's also very deep, as you know. And when I was swimming, I was looking at my feet, and that's basically what I had in my head. And so I have a question for you. Can you please raise your hands if you've ever been afraid of sharks? Please raise your hands. Don't be shy. Okay, so that's about everyone there. So I feel less alone, and that's amazing. But you know for a fact that it's very unlikely that you're going to get killed by sharks. So actually, I did my research, and here's what I found. What I found is you have 30 times more chances of getting killed by parts falling off an airplane. You have 150 times more chances of being killed by a coconut. So all of you are scared of sharks, but all of you know that it's not dangerous. So why is that? And the reason for that is a cognitive bias. It's a little trick that your brains are playing on you. That one is called the availability heuristic. What it means is that when you are in a situation where you need to evaluate probability and risk, you don't dig very deep for the facts. You go for what's readily available right here, right now. And because you've seen Jaws, the movie, because you hear from time to time about sharks, you think it's dangerous. So why am I talking about sharks right now when I'm supposed to talk about marketing? Give me one more movie from the 70s. You might recognize that one. Clockwork Orange, Stanley Kubrick. It's the rehabilitation/torture scene. The reason why I chose that image is because that's what advertising is. Advertising works a bit like the shark story I just told you. It works on refreshing memory structures. Brands are going to repeat a message over and over again so that when you are in a buying situation, you're going to think about that brand. Because we are primarily survivors, we need to trust what's being repeated to us. We need that to survive. And so brands build trust through repetition. And I guess you all know that. But there's one big issue on the business of advertising through repetition today. And here's the issue. I would like to introduce you to Coco the goldfish and Courtney the millennial. You see those numbers up there, 9 and 8? 9 is the average attention span of a goldfish. So 8 is the average attention span of, not of Courtney, it's the average attention span of all of you guys. And scarily enough, that number was 12 in the year 2000. So we're getting dumber and dumber. If you're a brand today and you're advertising, you're basically advertising to goldfishes. It's going to cost you so much money. You're going to have to repeat the message so many times to get any form of relationship with your customers. So that sounds pretty terrible for brands. The question is now, is there anything in Courtney's world that, as a brand, we can play on and maybe find a solution? So Courtney, again, you are all Courtneys, is looking for approval. She's looking for social validation. And as much as possible, she wants that social validation to be right here, right now, and to be quantified. And you've seen that on the evolution of social media in recent years. When you think about it, Facebook Back in the days, it was about, it was about getting more and more friends, posting more and more pictures. It was about accumulation. Now we have Facebook Live, we have Periscope, we have Snapchat Stories. It's about right here, right now. The second element of Courtney's world is that what's really cool today is not to own an expensive car or watch. What's cool today is to say, well, I'm going to Japan for the third time. I'm going to Burning Man. I'm learning how to cook sushis. I'm skydiving. It's experience. So the social currency of today is not ownership anymore. More and more, it's experience. Actually, that number you see there, 78%, is the percentage of millennials who, given a certain amount of money, would rather pay for an experience than an object. And that leads me to one of my key points today, which is welcome to the age of experience. In the age of experience, people don't care about owning products. In the age of experience, people want experiences. And so for brands, it's a paradigm shift, right? Because you can't talk about your products anymore. No one cares. You have to find a way to talk about the experience that comes with the product. And so some of the best brands are already doing that. So Nike, for example, if you see their ads, it's not about the shoe. It's about the power of feeling invincible or whatever. If you think about Coca-Cola, it's not about the taste of it. They're all about sharing moments with friends. So brands are crying out loud to build a deeper relationship with people, to go beyond the 8 seconds limit. So what I'd like to do right now is talk about the 3 powers of immersive technologies and why we think that immersive technologies present an interesting answer to the challenge of the age of experience. The first power of immersive technologies is to change behavior. If you have to change behavior to drive sales, can VR really change behavior? So I want to talk to you about an experience that was done at Stanford as well last year. In that experience, they took a big group of students and they created a 3D avatar for each of the students. But there were 2 groups. In the group 1, the 3D avatar looked just like them and 20-year-olds. In the second group, the 3D avatar looked just like them, but 70-year-olds. They put everyone in VR, one by one, and in VR, they could see their own bodies. They could see their arms because they were in front of a mirror. And they asked everyone to sing, to dance, to play the bongos, all sorts of stuff. And the people who were in group 2, the old people, they were being a bit more slow at dancing. The singing was a bit shitty. But you could say, well, it's like Halloween. If you're dressed as Donald Trump or a sexy pumpkin, you're not going to have the same night. So I don't know which is going to have the worst, but that's another question. Maybe Donald Trump is going to move on the pumpkin or something. But there was a questionnaire after the experience where they were asked a lot of questions about, did you feel weak? Did you feel powerful? What was the best part? The entire questionnaire was completely bullshit up until the last question. And the last question went something like this. Oh yeah, by the way, the social science department wants to know how you're going to spend the money. Are you going to go on holiday? Are you going to party? Are you going to give a present to a friend? Or are you going to save for later? The people who had been in their older body, seeing themselves old for just a few minutes, saved 3 times more money on average. There was no talk of money whatsoever in the experience at any point. So we changed a spending behavior quite drastically without ever talking about money. So that's power number 1. It's changing subconscious behavior. Power number 2 and 3, that might come or may not, let's see. There we go, are engagement and shareability. It's amazing that VR can change behavior, but if everyone hates it, it's pointless. So that's a research from last year, and that's about experiences created by brands. And it shows that 79% of consumers, after trying one brand experience, are going to look for more experiences from that same brand. So that seems to indicate that people like it quite a lot. The second point here is shareability. 81% of people, after trying a brand experience, will talk to their friends about it. So that's 4 out of 5 people, after seeing a commercial piece, are going to talk about your brand to their friends. That's super powerful. So let me sum up what we've done so far. One, we've established that all of you are scared of sharks. Two, we've established that the model of repetition in advertising is dying slowly, and we're entering the age of experience. And in that age, brands have a card to play with immersive technologies because they can change behavior, because they're enjoyable, and because they're highly shareable. So what I would like to do for these last 5 minutes is to tell you about what we've learned in the past 3 years about what works for brands. Let's look at the first model. So the first model, we talked about it. It's do not talk about your product because people don't care about it. Talk about the experience that it unlocks. So on the top left here, you have a GIF of an experience we did for Adidas that you can, by the way, try in the lobby, where we were tasked to tell the story of 2 American climbers in Corsica. And rather than just doing 360 videos, rather than making it about the shoes and the jacket, what we did is we teleported people in the body of the climber, and so they would physically finish the climb themselves. What we gave them was an adventure. We gave them, a sense of awe at the beginning because it looks pretty, then a bit of tension, then a bit of fear when they start climbing, and finally a sense of achievement. So we built positive memory. We gave them the experience that they're going to get for real if they buy the product. The second example is something we did for the UEFA, for the Champions League final last year in Cardiff. So, it was Juventus against Real Madrid, and we asked ourselves, how can we build up the excitement of the football fan, even more ahead of the game? And we thought that raising the Champions League trophy as a player of your favorite team was quite a good idea. So the model here is really build positive memories with your audience. The second model says that you don't need VR because VR might have limited reach. You don't need VR to have brand experiences. Actually, there's a huge opportunity presented by augmented reality. You can turn your product, you can turn the packaging into a vehicle for brand experience. So on the top right here, you have 19 Crimes, which is a wine brand, and the whole brand is the story of those 19 criminals who were sent to Australia. If you take your phone or your tablet and you scan the label, you're going to see one of the criminals, his bottle, come to life and tell you his or her story. I don't know why you want to, drink the wine of a rapist, but that's another question. That brand was named Brand of the Year 2016, Wine Brand of the Year. At the bottom right, you have Dutch Lady. Dutch Lady, they sell milk for kids in Southeast Asia, and all those, those packaging comes with toys. And so they saw 2 things. One is the kids like to play with the toys we give, and 2, the rest of the day they spend a lot of time on their tablets and phones. So they created an interactive AR experience in 3D where you get to explore a Dutch farm, take selfies with a farm boy, and collect 30 different versions of a game. Their sales increased by 20% on that year. So what you're doing here is you're using your product as media space, and it's free. So it's quite powerful. The third model, called Retail Everywhere. Think about if you wanted to buy a house, let's say 30 years ago. It was 2 lines of text in a newspaper. And then we upgraded to grainy black and white pictures, and then color pictures, and then HD pictures. And every time we upgraded, it was easier and easier for people to know what they were going to buy. So the conversion rate increased as well. This year, we're upgrading again. So if any of you has iPhone 7, 8, or iPhone X, you can download IKEA Place, which is an app from IKEA that lets you place any item from the catalog in real size in your living room. And you can walk around it, you can change the color, and obviously you can order it online. On the bottom here, you have BMW. So they partnered with Snapchat to create a lens that lets you place a real size car in your garage. Same, you can play with the colors and the interior. That lens was seen 40 million times. So that's 40 million people who have spent 1 or 2 minutes playing with a car that doesn't even exist in the streets yet. So that's quite impressive. And the model here is very simple. Most brands are selling objects that exist in 3 dimensions. And so far, we've only been able to use medium that have 2 dimensions. Now we can sell those objects volumetrically, and we make the choice for the consumer all the more easier. Finally, the last model, maybe. There we go. The last model is my favorite, is as a brand, you can make your audiences heroes of their fantasy worlds. So you guys probably know Le Bureau des Légendes, the show. If you don't know it, you have to watch it. It's amazing. And we were approached by Canal+ to create an immersive trailer for season 2. And we asked ourselves, what's the ultimate dream of a fan of that show? And this is a spy show. So the ultimate dream is to become a spy, to be a member of the Bureau. And so that's exactly what we did. We created a 6-minute spin-off of the show where you are in the shoes of a spy. Mathieu Kassovitz, Jean-Pierre Darroussin come and shake your hand. They send you on a mission in Paris, and of course, you are successful. The second example is Nissan. So Nissan partnered with Star Wars ahead of the last movie, and they created an experience where you repair robots, so BB-8 and etc. And that experience is only available at dealerships. So you have tens of thousands of families who are rushing to Nissan dealerships to have the best experience of their life. So when you look at this and you compare it with the 8 seconds limit, how much more value is giving an experience like this to your audience is it compared to posting again and again on Facebook? And here's what I want to tell you today. Immersive technology is, well, it's a platform, it's not an idea. And you shouldn't listen to evangelists, you shouldn't do VR or AR just for the sake of it. All of these campaigns have something in common, and that's they respond to a real strategic opportunity or challenge, and they respond with a great idea. So the edge of experience is a threat, but it's also a massive, massive opportunity. Because for brands who will manage to reinvent themselves as providers of experiences, they will win very, very big. So we're somewhere else, and we power your great ideas through immersive technologies. So thanks a lot for listening, and have a great day.
Merci.